What's up, world? This is your girl P. So, how to understand the meaning of no weapon formed against me, you shall prosper. Now, as a disclaimer, I am not projecting my opinion on you. This is just my vantage point and how I see the meaning of no weapon formed against me shall prosper. It's like basically you following the higher power. And I feel, and this is just my opinion, there's only one, but we all have a name for it, you know. Just like if you are a mother, some of your children, like I have 5 children, some of my children call me mama. My son calls me mom. My daughter calls me mom. And one of my children calls me mother. But I'm just one. And just call me different names. They say different things to me. So that's how I feel. It's like, there's one higher power and we all have a name that we choose to call it. But when you put that higher power first in your life, it's in front of you and you're following. And so because that higher power is in front of you and you're following that higher power, it is a shield. So it's an energetic shield that is blocking negative energy coming towards you. So if there is someone trying to hurt you, and I'm not trying to focus on negativity, I'm just merely sharing my vantage point on how I see why the weapons are forming, but they won't prosper, is because people have bad intentions and they intend to hurt you. But the weapon that they're forming against you won't prosper because you're following the higher power. And when you answer the call that is placed on your life and you are doing the work that you're called to do, it makes you a light. And as you're climbing the ladder to success, and that light is because you are a star. And when you're climbing, you're being raised up. And so, therefore, there is a light around you. And the only people that will be forming weapons against you are people who are in the dark. And when they're in the dark, they're thinking that I can do these things to you and I won't be seen. But there's a light around you. And so, therefore, they think that they're in the dark, but they're not. So, they're being seen by the higher powers that be, whether you call it the universe, whether you call it God, Jesus, Lord, Allah, Buddha, Jehovah, Ra, whoever you call that higher power, higher power is shielding you. And so, yes, the weapons are forming, but they won't prosper. And so, that's what that meaning means to me, is because I'm working for the higher powers that be. And when you work for the higher powers that be, it wouldn't be different than having a job and getting benefits. You get AD&D, you may get 401k, you may get, health insurance, HSA, FSA, you get all of these different benefits because you work for that entity. And if you're working for the higher powers that be, you get coverage. And it's spiritual protection. It is covering your energy. And so that doesn't mean that, you know, people won't intend to hurt you. They are trying to hurt you, but that's forming a weapon. But they don't realize that you have a shield. They don't realize that that shield is a light. And when they're trying to attempt to destroy you, their weapon won't prosper. And so that's what no weapon formed against me shall prosper means for me. And so you may get, hit by negative energy. You may get hit and hurt like me. I can only go by what I've experienced. I done got knocked down I don't know how many times. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't prosper. So whatever was intended to lay me down, and bury me in the grave, they don't realize that I'm a seed, which is a star seed, a seed in the making. And anytime you are becoming a rising star, in order for you to grow, you have to get dirt thrown on you. You have to get put in the mud. You have to get buried down where people feel like you fell off. That's how they see it. She fell off. He fell off. You know, but while they're knocking you down, they don't realize that everybody talking about you and speaking negativity on your name, that they don't realize that's dirt that's being thrown on a seed. But they don't realize, because you're following the higher powers that be, that you're going to be lifted, you're going to be raised up, and you're going to be moving up, and you're going to be a star shining bright, rising above all the negativity, because you're being lifted, because you're being covered. And that's how those weapons that are forming against you, they won't prosper. And you have to know that. And when these things that happen in your life, just like me, it hurt. you know I would be lying if I said it didn't. It hurt. And when you're going through it, we don't think about all of that until after the fact, and you realize once you got out of that hole or that ditch that people tried to bury you in, and you look, not looking back like reminiscing on the past, but just in hindsight, if you will, you saying, dang, I don't, I didn't think I was going to come out of this. But you have to realize that, yeah, the weapons formed against you, but they didn't prosper. And so what people don't realize is that they're being seen, even though they're in the dark. It's because you are a light in the darkness, and it's not something physical, it's spiritual. And it's something that people can't see. They don't realize that they're caught in the light. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to be exposed for what they're doing, you know, and because of your success, you're just going to keep going because you're shielded. And as long as you stay working for that entity, you're going to always have coverage. And so that's why I refuse to turn away no matter what I go through. I express myself when I'm going through it because I have to feel it in order to not suppress it so that I can let it go, and how I release that energy is by communication. I have to let that hot air out, if you will, and so that I don't suppress how I'm feeling. I'm not holding it in, and I have to let it go, and I rise above it, because every time you let go of any negative emotion, you raise up. And the more you raise up, the higher you vibrate, the bigger your light is, because we're all stars. We start at the bottom, and if we're following the higher powers that be, we're moving forward, we're following, and going forward is always going up. And I spoke on that before. Anytime you're moving forward in your life towards a goal to accomplish, you're moving forward, you're always going up, and you're being raised up. And so, and that energetic shield is always going to be shielding you. It's not going to take you out mentally. And if you don't have your mental, straight, then you don't have anything. You know what I'm saying? Because wherever the mind goes, the body follows. And you have to put your mind on the goal, keeping the higher powers that be at the forefront. That's the whole point of putting, you know, God first, Jesus first, Allah first, Buddha first, Jehovah first. That's the whole point of putting that higher power first. Because when you put that higher power first, it's in front of you, you're following it, and it's blocking all negativity that's coming your way. And so that's how no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And that's just my vantage point. And I'm not here to project, but that's all I got for you. And I holler though. One love. Peace.